Welcome back to another episode of The Strength Studio. You're already the worst. So this week, and we're going to start doing this every episode to give you some context, because sometimes I don't do that. We have Rachel Byrne with us. Rachel is going to give her explanation as to who she is and what she does, but she is in her own right a successful powerlifter. She's very successful in the fact that she has me as a partner, and the rest of her life is somewhat of a mystery. So we're going to... Immediately I'm like, did I even press record? I'm sure I did.
Want to check?
Not really. This could be a write-off. It's fine. So the intro, you're going to have to introduce yourself. Who are you? What do you do? Give me your Uber pitch.
I'm Rachel. I'm from West Sussex. I'm just imagining Blind Date, where they're like...
I haven't seen the old one, like the 1990s of with Priscilla.
Priscilla.
Oh.
Priscilla Black.
Sure. Fuck, you're old.
Yeah, I am. I'm 30. I'm from West Sussex.
I need your postcode.
You've given them my surname already. What more do they want?
Well, I can Google you, but
yeah. Find me on Company's House. I'm a business owner. We run Thrive together, and I do powerlifting as well.
For context, you want to say business owner. What is Thrive?
Thrive, as we lovingly call it. It is kind of like a wellness complex, I guess. There's different elements to the business. We have a gym, we have beauty therapy rooms, and we have a plant-based coffee shop.
And maybe given the context of when you say you're a business owner, where did Thrive come from?
Well, how much backstory do you want?
I wonder if anyone watches these videos and knows I get up and fuck off really constantly.
I watch all the videos.
Have you seen how frequently I get up?
Yeah.
Yeah, it happens a lot. If people only listen.
It's
the ABCs. She means ADHD for the record. Where Thrive. I can't even say it.
Call it Thrive anymore.
Where Thrive came from, because obviously, when people don't know what you do, except for the fact you post that you do spin, and you post that you lift, and then you post horrible things. So what's in the middle?
A meme sometimes.
Sometimes
a meme. But again, how far back are we talking?
Long enough that it's interesting, but short enough that we don't have to indulge in it.
Okay. I used to work for another of our family's businesses, and I kind of just moved up. I was going to say up the ranks, but just kind of would move sideways and sometimes up. Starting off as just helping out, opening the post, then a receptionist, and then an admin, blah, blah, blah. And then I went and got qualified as a Prince 2 practitioner, which for anyone who has been a project manager, you'll know that is just a project management methodology.
I'm sure there's loads of those
really
listening,
boring.
being like, oh, you too? I'm a project manager.
The projects are cool. Prince 2 is boring and really hard. And we didn't run Prince 2 projects, so it's kind of irrelevant. But yeah, I was a project manager in that business. And around that time, I was working on some really cool stuff. Can
we skip to Thrive?
Huh? Skip to Thrive? I was working on some cool stuff. And then, due to lots of different things, my family, my dad being the CEO of the company, decided to sell it. And just before selling it, we had bought a plot of land, which was right next door to the offices that we had, with basically the plan to expand into that. We were overflowing. The company was growing at an exponential rate, and we needed more office space. But when the new owners took over, they decided that, against their word, they were going to up and leave and relocate everyone, which they promised they wouldn't do. But yeah, so we were left with a plot of land with planning permission and a build about to start imminently. And we were like, well, what do we do with it now? Because they're not going to use it. No businesses move to Selsey. There isn't a business big enough.
Because anyone who's listening to this, if you haven't found Selsey on a map, it's probably not worth looking for.
No.
And it's just at the bottom tail of a bit of the country.
Yes.
And so there's one road in and one road out. And you guys went, we should put a company here.
No.
It's where I would put a company, so I wouldn't have to see people.
Yeah, that kind of vibe, And so we were like, right, well, let's do something that we care about. And at that time, we really cared about fitness, wellness, looking after yourself. Both my dad and myself had experienced, I would say, transformations.
Well, that's something worth giving context to, because otherwise we will gloss over that. What was your transformation that had your interest in fitness at that point?
So I had grown up with all sorts of issues around eating. I would say predominantly binge eating. And as a result, at many times in my life, I had been very overweight. And it was around this time I had been at another gym, which was like my last resort gym. I remember having a conversation with my dad and being like, I am so desperate. I think I need surgery. I've tried everything. And I really believed that I had. And I was like, I can't do this anymore. Like, I can't live like this. I think I need weight loss surgery. And he very patiently just turned to me and said, okay, we can talk about that, but I want you to try one last thing. And if that doesn't work out, we can talk about surgery. I'll support you. I'll help you, whatever. And that last thing was to go to a gym that he was attending at the time, which was a semi-private personal training gym. And I got some nutrition coaching, which is really the big impact. That was the big life changer for me.
And so where were you at? So when people are trying to create a transformation, they're going to do it by body weight or something?
I weighed... So I refused to weigh myself when I started. I refused to take photos when I first started. But after a couple of weeks of thinking, oh, this could be moving in the right direction, I decided to weigh myself, and I was about 100 kilos at that point.
Yeah, already into it.
Yeah.
And then you got down to?
Oh, at my smallest I was about 68, 69.
About 30 odd kilos lost?
Yeah.
So that was your transformation, and then you said, okay, I love fitness and I care about fitness.
Well, I had just seen how much my life had improved, and how much of my time I wasted with just shit advice.
Just doing
and just
dumb shit.
The fitness industry and the agenda that they have, and all the money making schemes. And I was like, I don't want other people to go through that. So if we can help people, then let's do that.
So Thrive was born off the idea of doing some better things for better people.
Yeah, actually helping people in meaningful ways. Obviously not everyone's goal is weight loss. But yeah, actually having a real positive impact. And hopefully having some people have that same transformation of me mentally and emotionally to actually be happy.
And now obviously, I know a bit of the inside of this, so it's kind of cheating, but how do you feel that you've managed to convey that with Thrive?
Do I, or how do I?
Do you? Do you feel you've managed to convey that?
I do, yeah. I do. I think it's one of the phrases that I used to use was, I want it to be a gym for people who don't like gyms, or have perhaps had bad experiences in gyms, or like me, were desperate, like, I've already tried this, I've already done that. And I do feel that the team have done that, with us leading the way of like priorities, and this is what we value. This is like our mission. I absolutely think that they have fulfilled that.
So that being one of the big things that you do with your time, the other being powerlifting.
Yeah. So, I loved it.
I think people are going to slowly realise our dynamic through this. We're like, Rachel has these spontaneous highs, and I'm like, oh, fuck, okay. Let's just pause. So obviously you went through big transformation. You started with Thrive. You built up those elements. But somewhere within that, you moved from the girl who lost all the weight to the girl that was this heaping mess.
What went wrong?
What fucking happened?
I don't know.
How, I know we've covered this before in the past, but you're new to the Strength Studio. So how did you get here?
How did I get here? So when I was training at that gym that I spoke about, where I got the nutrition coaching and things like that, I was having semi-private personal training. I was lifting. That was a big part of it, is resistance training. And so I was squatting and deadlifting. I thought I was amazing. I thought I was the best. Like, I was one of the strongest in that gym, including the men. I wasn't far behind them. I worked really hard. I was very good at endurance stuff as well. Not running, but yeah.
But other endurance things.
Yeah, and so I thought I was great. And then I fell into that trap once you start lifting of you would date personal trainers.
That trap.
That trap.
Oh, glad you
not got any of my personal
I'm glad
trainers.
you got past that trap.
No.
That's a lifestyle you decided, mate.
We'll circle back. No, they were never my personal trainers, but you just kind of gravitate towards people you have things in common with, and yeah. So I kind of squatted and kind of deadlifted, not well, but I thought I was really good. And then I met you. So obviously when we met, it was just before, it was kind of like on the edge of that first lockdown ending.
Yeah, before it ended.
And so I hadn't been able to go to the gym. I'd just been doing loads of workouts at home. My knees really had started hurting because I was doing so many repetitions. So many.
And then?
I met you. I remember taking the piss out of you because I was like, oh, are you Instagram famous?
Oh, literally. So you saw my following count, and it, like, bear in mind, we hadn't known each other long. You thought completely apt and appropriate to just mock me.
It wasn't until we were on our first date, I think, though, because I'll be honest, I used to not really want to look too much into someone before meeting them because I was scared
Put
that
yourself
I'd
off.
get the ick.
You'd see all my stuff and be like, what a prick.
I'd be like, oh no, sorry, I have to cancel lockdown.
Shit. So yeah, you went on the first date and then you told me, what are you, Instagram famous or something?
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I've just bought all my followers.
And I was like, oh.
And then you got into a bit of interest of what it was. I mean, I don't think I spoke to you about lifting for
you
probably
kept
a month.
I had no idea, like, your success within powerlifting. Had no idea, really. I only knew of one powerlifter, and that was Sophia Ellis, and that was only because she's vegan.
And she messaged you on our first date.
She did. No, she just liked something.
Oh, piece of shit.
She just liked one of my posts, but I knew it was you behind it, because I was like, she doesn't know I exist.
But yeah, so obviously, had that first date. I didn't talk about powerlifting for a long, long time.
No.
Didn't really want to, I couldn't care less.
But where I was like, I like lifting.
And I was like,
we would train together, and you were so patient and so nice.
Well, I didn't even insist that we train together. It was that I was going to go to the gym, and you were like, I'll come along.
Yeah, I can do that.
Because
I can do gym.
You were like, I'm sick of this.
I'm really good.
This is my jam.
You might not want to watch. It might upset you.
And then we came down, and you were like, I'll just do what you're doing. And I was like, okay, cool.
Which I now realise.
How annoying that was.
Fucking hate that. When people are like, oh, just do what you do. I'm like, first of all, you probably can't. Second of all, you don't want to.
You were squatting 75 kilos high for like the sixes, and I remember just being like,
it's fine.
Play nice.
It's fine.
You're like 3 dates in, this is not the time.
She's real pretty. It's fine. You didn't think that.
So you trained with me for a little bit doing those bits?
Yeah. And then I remember, I think Alice had asked you about coaching beforehand, before I'd asked. And I remember seeing you start to coach her, and I got to a point where I was like, maybe I do like the idea of just being really strong.
Because I think for a number of weeks you were only doing that kind of training because you were training with me.
Yeah.
You weren't going to your own gym and being like, I'm going to do SBD work.
No.
You'd already done bits, but it wasn't this.
And I was still going back to that gym and doing the semi-private and doing classes and stuff.
And up until the point you asked me to coach you, very specifically, I was like, I literally don't care what you do whatever you want to do.
Yeah, you didn't encourage me into it at all.
No.
Not that you discouraged me, but you're very neutral.
And it was very much trying to make the point of being like, it's just because this is the only free time I have. You want to spend some time together, come train.
Yeah.
And then you were like, stop playing footsie with me. This is a podcast. Grow up, you fucking loser. Yeah, so then you said, would you coach me? And I was like, oh, fuck.
I think I said, would you write me a program?
Yeah. I mean, I inadvertently was doing that because you kept coming to the gym with me and be like, so what shall I do? And I was like, stop fucking asking me.
I don't know what to do today. Until you'd be like,
whatever will I do? And then until you were like, right, would you write me a program? Then we started poking you at lifting.
Yeah.
Because I'd played nice for a while.
But I don't remember ever feeling offended by anything that you said to me.
No, it was just like right, let's talk about your sumo. Because your sumo...
What's funny is that I can sumo now.
You can now?
Now I can.
You couldn't then.
No.
Your sumo then was a really great RDL with a wide stance.
Fucking strong RDL though, wasn't it?
110 for one.
Yeah.
Grow up.
Remember, I'm amazing. In my headspace at the time.
In your headspace, you were literally the queen.
Yeah.
Because before I go into the rest of your coaching, so that'll take you into competing. No, into powerlifting.
Yeah.
So then what's the road between, I'm going to do some powerlifting, to competition?
So I think most people who have ever listened to me talk about how I got into powerlifting probably already know.
Those queues of people.
So many.
All those people that have listened to me talk about this one.
So
you mean
many.
Alice, who's heard it like 9 times?
No. All 5 of the listeners.
Leave my podcast alone.
The old one.
Oh.
What was the question?
How did you come to compete?
Oh yeah, so I was absolutely adamant that I wasn't interested in competing at all, and everyone was like, "You'll change your mind when you go to a comp," and I was like, I've been to quite a few now, and I want to do it. I don't like it.
Because in that time, obviously, you came to a lot of comps with me to help me out or just to spend time with me.
Yeah.
We must have gone to like 10 comps before you even considered saying you'd do one.
Yes, and it was because you'd said something to me about people who compete, they just do make more progress, like more often than not, because they've got a goal, they've got an aim, they've got a deadline, they've got something to push for, rather than just being like, I just want to get stronger here somewhere. And you're like, no, I need to be here.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, that's fucking rude. I want that kind of progress too.
Well, initially you were like, I don't think it's true. I love training. I'm like, I want to train, so it'll be fine. And I was like, that's absolutely fine. You never have to compete. I don't care. I'm just telling you.
Yeah.
I've coached a lot. People who compete make more progress.
And then I kind of got to a point again where I was like, these bitches over here making this progress, I want that too. Not that I wasn't making progress.
No, you're still climbing. You're still doing okay.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I was like, well, maybe I could try one. And I remember specifically, do one. And I very much was like, if I don't like it, I never have to do it again. I don't even have to go through with it on the day if I don't want to.
Yeah, we said that.
And I specifically chose BDFPA because I was so self-conscious about how I would look in knee sleeves. Just as bad as I look without them. But I remember being like, as much as I didn't want to squat without knee sleeves, I was like, I cannot bear how I'm going to look in knee sleeves. Let me do BDFPA. And because it is a very friendly group of people, like the lifters, specifically the lifters are fantastic. So yeah, I did it and I didn't hate it as much as I thought I would.
You had a pretty good day with your first meet, right? Did you go 9 for 9 or 8 for 9?
9 for 9 best lifter.
That was it.
Yeah.
I have a lot of that with my first time competitors, freaks.
Yeah.
And then you just got steadily worse. And then, so you do your first competition.
Yes.
That glossed over. I enjoyed that. Do your first competition and you've made more progress.
Yeah.
And then it's I don't mind this.
Yes, I could do it again.
I think, so where was your second comp?
It was the mock meet. Before the DBD Opens were a thing, you ran a mock meet.
So where's your next comp? Like federation-based comp?
BP.
So that's a jump. What moves you to knee sleeves?
The fear of squatting without them, you know?
And also,
and because I was like, oh, I'll go try that. We'd been to so many comps of so many different federations, and I was interested to see how I would find being an athlete at a BP comp. And as well, I don't know, like knowing there were harsher or more inconsistent, I should say, reffing standards, I was like, oh, let me see where I'm at with that one.
That makes you feel like you've hit it to a standard that no one can debate.
Yeah.
Because I think when people say like it's a higher standard, it's like, no, it's just like if you're there, every other fed's going to say yes. Yeah. There's no other fed that's like, it wasn't deep enough if the BP have said it's deep enough.
Yeah.
There's no other fed that's like, that's not a long enough pause on your bench if the BP have said it's long enough pause.
Yeah.
Because they're like, down, I'm going for lunch. See you in 10.
Yes.
So if they say yes, you're pretty clean cut. So you hit your standard there. How did your BP comp go?
Yeah.
That noise. Oh look, the trauma slipped out.
Sorry, just a little spillage.
Oh, that's minging.
No, it was all right.
It's fine.
It was fine. It's fine. Love you, Eve. So squats were pretty good. That prep was pretty good.
Yeah.
All my preps have been great.
You're welcome.
I remember, so I didn't hit my third squat, but that's because I knew it was risky, and I was like, well, I regret not trying, and I was willing to end on my second attempt. I was like, I'm willing to risk it. And my second squat was still bigger than anyone's third attempt, so I'm like,
validated.
I know it's just a regional, but still.
And there's one other person here.
I also weighed in really light. And as soon as I weighed in, I started having this like, oh my God, am I going to be weak?
This is such a you of being like, I need to weigh in light, I want to weigh in light, I'm going to look after my diet all week. I've weighed in light. No, I'm pathetic. Oh, fuck it.
I'm going to crumble.
So squats were fine.
Squats were fine.
The last miss was kind of one that we thought was a risk.
Yeah.
Bench. You got butchered.
I did. That wasn't very fair, but it is what it is. I got my opener, but from my opener, I was like,
Before anyone said, like, because obviously that comment, I just want to make sure that's clarified. You said that wasn't fair. It wasn't a reffing standard of fair. Yes. It wasn't like, oh, the reffing was harsh, that was unfair. Yeah. It was, you were put in a situation by a lift out that was quite unfair.
Yeah, so obviously, like, as people will know, you can in BP, you have to get a lift out from someone who's part of the platform crew. So I went over, explained to them exactly how I would like it. They didn't get it quite right on that first one. No. And I was like, it's okay, I will re-explain.
It was manageable, and we just said, just clarify on the second.
Just be really firm. So I did that. First of all, I was up there, like, you know, I'm here, and I'm waiting, and I'm like, hello?
Oh, this is going to be the snippet we use.
Literally like, where's he gone?
I remember watching the platform being like, he's 3 meters away.
He's got a sprint here now.
And like, don't get me wrong, I'm sure on video it probably doesn't look as long as it felt. But even at the time,
I was like, my back is starting to cramp.
At the time, you were there for a while. I was like, dude,
yeah,
to go get her.
Yeah, and so then he came over. Now, in hindsight, I wish I had started my setup again.
I wish you'd self-unracked, in hindsight.
Yeah.
Because you handled that fine.
Yeah, so I... Then he's clearly not remembered anything that I've said, and quite heavy-handed with giving me the lift out.
Which wasn't the bad bit, to be fair. Like, that wasn't great, but it was...
No, and then so I put my bum down, my heels are down, my head's down, I'm in a legal position, I know I am, and I am waiting. I'm waiting for that start command, and it ain't coming, and I'm like, nothing has changed. Like, when I finally did it, I was like, nothing changed.
I would say it was a clean 3 seconds of he stepped away, and then it's 1, 2... 3.
Yeah, and
start, and you're like, what are we waiting for?
As much as in training, you know, when I'm getting close to a comp, I will try and replicate a wait.
Yeah.
No one waits that long. No one's expecting to wait that long. And the weight in my hands, I was just so fatigued by that point. I missed the lift. I knew straight away I wasn't going to get it. When I retook it, I was like, there's no way. But obviously I had to go try. And same thing happened again.
He literally didn't come to the platform again.
Yeah, so that was that.
And that happens. I'm sure he had his own day, whatever that was. And then Dead Boys.
Dead Boys were good. I just wanted to play it safe. I was like, because I had a little bit of a cry after the bench. Because it was upsetting, you know?
It was just disappointing. Because your prep had been good again.
I was expecting to get a PB on bench, like a comp PB. So yeah. Then deadlifts opened at 165.
Then took 175, then took 180?
Yeah, and when it came to that 180, I had deadlifted 180 once before, I think. Once before.
Yeah, you'd pulled 180 at the
mock meet. That was a fucking grind.
How the fuck are we together?
It was that. If anyone's watched it,
the first time you pulled 180 was like 10 second. Yeah. The next time you pulled 180 for a safe third, because I was like, I'm gonna be honest, you've had a bit of a day. Yeah. Let's just clean up.
I just thought that if I didn't hit my last deadlift, I'd be really upset about it. So
yeah. I think the 182 was like where I wanted to put it, or 185 even, depending on how things had gone. And then after the others, I was like, you're not going up, I'm just clean.
Also, it was definitely the heaviest deadlift of the day.
Stop flexing on other people. Again, grow up.
Just if you ever need a confidence boost as a...
Be stronger. If you ever want a confidence boost, be stronger than everyone else.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyway, had that competition, and it was a bit of a sour taste in the mouth.
Yeah, so it's fine. Like, overall, like, I didn't hate the day. It's just not what I'd hoped.
So obviously that finished up, and then it was a case of like, okay, do you want to compete again? But your other BDFPA comp at that point, we thought had qualified you for nationals.
Oh yeah, but going back, I had thought that my original BDFPA comp qualified me for nationals, but then I had decided in between that I wasn't going to do it.
Yeah, so that's what I was going to say. We thought you qualified, and we weren't going to consider it. But after this, it's like, well, look, that wasn't a good comp. That's fine.
Yeah.
This is an opportunity to do something comp that you're probably never going to do again.
Yeah, because I was very much like, I was getting FOMO. I was like, we're probably going to be at the competition anyway with some of the other girls. I don't want to be there loading, being like, you could have done this.
Yeah.
And I was like, look, if you're going to do a BDFPA Nationals, this is the last year that you'll do it. Like, I just know I just won't do it in future. So I was like, well, enter. And again, you don't have to go through with it. But then I found out that my comp was too long ago and I had to re-qualify. But yeah.
And then that was the real commitment, because it was, you need to go to a comp, do 3 for 3.
In Western Supermare.
Like, it took us like, what, 3-4 hours to get there?
Yeah.
I was like, right, if you're going to do that comp, you're doing nationals, because
Yes.
it's not wasting the fucking weekend to go do a 3 for 3.
Yeah.
Went, did the 3 for 3, qualifies, and then nationals prep.
Yeah.
And nationals prep was pretty fucking good.
Pretty fucking good.
But it's always that bit where like, and we'll talk about our dynamic, because there's bits from coaching end where I'm like, this is very unique for me.
Yeah.
But you had a good prep, and then you had nationals.
Yep.
And now let's do story time with Rachel. How?
Story time with Rachel.
These little caption bits. You're going to be like, why did she have a breakdown on the thing?
What's wrong with her?
So it was, I'll do the first bit of just like, okay, so you prep for nationals. Nationals was looking quite promising. You weren't going to win. We knew this going in. But it was like, okay, podium's pretty safe bet. And second seems...
I don't think it even was. The morning
it was a safe bet that it was possible. It wasn't that's a write-off.
Yeah.
And there were quite a few people that popped up. And anyway, then we said, like, okay, we're going to go up. We're going to drive halfway there because it's a fucking Horncastle. It's like 7 hours away.
Yeah.
So we'll do half of it to my family trip, and then we'll do the other half. So it's the day before nationals. Prep's done. We've done the cousins camping trip, so the first 4 hours is out the way, and then we do the next bit of the trip.
Yeah.
How'd the next bit go?
Fucking awful. I remember you would want to keep stopping so I could get out and stretch my legs and stuff like that. And I remember getting out, walking around in the dark, just being like stretching my stupid legs. And then about 20 minutes away from our Airbnb, we were in a car accident.
Yeah. Sorry about that. And then, so we had a big old car crash.
Yeah.
It was 10 o'clock at night at that point.
It was dark and raining and miserable and all these... what should I refer to them as?
The drunkards from the wedding. From the wedding, who ran out being like, we heard an accident, like, because we crashed.
Yeah.
And they're like, is everyone...
Are there any children in the car? No.
Which isn't helpful.
Just me.
So, and then, obviously, we have that somewhat traumatic experience. And,
that was really upsetting.
Now, I will say, because obviously I know the answer to this, but for a lot of people, they don't. So let's indulge a little. You're on your way to nationals, which you were shit scared for.
Yeah.
And
we were literally talking in the car. I was like, I feel so stressed. Like, I just want to do well. If I just want to perform
Yeah, we spoke
well.
about it for like an hour and a half before we crashed. But how, in that moment, it had the car crash, how quickly did comps fucked come to mind?
How quickly did... I don't know if it ever did.
I just want you to know that big is going to be so loud on that mic. Right?
I don't know if the thought ever did come because... Yeah, I don't think that thought actually did come. It was more, who's hurt? Does that mean we're going to have to go to hospital if someone's hurt? I honestly didn't really know what was going to happen at the time. It became apparent probably within about 15, 20 minutes that no one was immediately seriously hurt and that we had decided... Because the police were like, oh yeah, accidents happen here all the time. We're like, great. That's great news. I'm not alone. But they had said, right, so we can get an ambulance here to come check you all over, but it's going to be about 3 or 4 hours. It's in the pissing rain.
Well, I'd spoken to him and said, like, I might need an ambulance.
Yeah,
and
you were probably hurt the worst.
Well, yeah. Well, the rest of it were going to leave.
Yeah.
But, and at that point, it was very much like, okay, but I want to get you two to an Airbnb.
Yeah, I remember you being like, I'm going to put you in a taxi. And I was like, I'm not going anywhere without you.
And I was like, you fucking hell. And then I got you to call the taxi company.
Yeah.
And I said to them about the ambulance, and they were like, it's going to be like 3 hours, or we can drive you to like they were going to drive me on my own straight to A&E. And I was like, how long will I be there? And they were like 5 or 6 hours. I was like, fuck it, we're going to the Airbnb then.
Yeah.
So we go to Airbnb, and then you don't sleep.
I don't sleep. I remember being awake, and you know when you've been awake for so long, you're like, I actually need to check what time it is now. And it was 4:30 in the morning, and I remember just starting to cry.
You bawled your eyes out.
Because I was like, you'd managed to fall asleep on and off a little bit, but every time I moved, you were awake.
And every time I fell asleep, you woke me up.
Yeah, so about that.
Because you were like, I'm not suffering alone.
We do this together.
So neither of us got any sleep.
No.
But yeah, you had about 2 hours left.
I just remember looking at it being 4:30 in the morning and being like, my alarm is set for 2 hours time. And I was like, what the fuck am I going to do? I was like, I can't, how am I going to lift? Like, I was so tired.
And then you got to turn it off, maybe yawn. Thinking about that. Not because I'm bored of you. That's different.
Oh no. I lost it.
Just no one knows. No, it's a podcast, mate. So most people would have seen that. They've just seen you go,
Oh, it left. The yawn ran away.
So we eventually get a fraction of sleep, and we wake up being like, let's just not fucking stop stifling that yawn. You look like you're gonna shit yourself. you eventually get a fraction of sleep, and in the morning, I said to you, look, I don't want to talk about the car crash, and I don't want to talk about the lack of sleep, because all it's going to do is have you thinking, I'm so tired, that's why this feels like this. I've had a car crash, that's why this feels... And you'll nocebo yourself so fast.
We also decided that night before not to tell the other girls what had happened, because we didn't want them freaking out about the possibility of you not being there or worrying about us. But we did have to get Sarah to pick us up because we didn't have a car. Yeah.
So, which I also want to, like... Because I don't know the other girls will realise we literally made the choice in a moment of trauma to be like, make sure they're fine. We're telling no one.
Yeah.
And then we got to the event and you told someone. And then Alexia comes up to me and goes, what the fuck? And I was like, oh, fine. But anyway, past all of that, you've had no sleep. You've had a traumatic car experience on the way there. You're welcome. And then you compete.
Yeah.
And how did comp go?
So good. It was so good. Everything that I wanted out of the day, I still got. I mean, with my squat, I didn't have a specific number in mind, only because I didn't know how I would hold up without knee sleeves. Obviously, I had exposed myself to some work without knee sleeves before comp, but I'd never gone as heavy as that. And so I matched my squat PB without sleeves, and I don't think I can really complain about that.
No.
And there was more in the tank.
There was. Watching it back, 5 kilos.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
I absolutely believe I could have squatted 150 without sleeves that day.
You did squat 150 2 days
2 days later. But
in sleeves. And then bench?
Bench. So I feel like bench, some of the work that I'd been doing had been giving me really good estimated 1 rep maxes, like my volume work. But obviously volume work and being able to maintain that skill under a manageable load is very different to then putting something heavier on. But I got a PB, so I was really happy with that. Again, if you watch it back, it looks like there's still some room in the tank. So, yeah, not a lot, but
and then the last one.
And then the deadlift. Just my whole personality. 190 deadlift. And I was really happy with how it moved. Watching it, I'm honestly so happy. Again, I reckon there was a little bit of room in the tank, but of course I wanted to just secure numbers.
And it's not only that, but I think people get really carried away with like, oh, there was more. I'm like, think of how heavy you would have had to open.
Yeah.
And what stress that would have put on you.
Yeah.
Because you opened at what, 170?
Yeah.
And so I think, well, your existing max is 182 going in.
Yeah.
You're like, we're going to do open at 180? Like, that's fucking silly.
Yeah. And also we had spoken about jumps between attempts, and obviously like if you're going heavier, really you don't want to fatigue yourself by messing around with doing warm-ups or attempts that are like 5 kilos apart from each other. But I just wasn't confident with making bigger jumps.
Well, you made a 12 kilo jump.
12 and 7, so yeah, that was fine. But if you had told me, no, you're going to open at 165, jump 15, well, that wouldn't have worked out, but you know what I mean.
Math.
So
pulled 150, 190.
190.
Same thing. Sorry, my phone's going mental. Pulled 190, ecstatic, wonderful day.
Yeah.
Whole thing went pretty fucking well.
It did.
Turns out sleep's overrated, car crashes are great.
Yeah, I kept forgetting during the day. I was like, oh yeah, that happened.
So that's all happened. You've had the wonderful comp. You've had that was the comp I was maybe going to do. I'm going to do it. I did the thing. And you did take second.
I did.
Predictably, we knew not first, so there was no hard feelings because she was 42 kilos ahead.
42.5 kilos ahead of me. I knew I wasn't going to win.
And she's also my lifter, so I knew I could bet on what the outcome was going to be.
Yeah.
So now what? And I know we've had this chat, but now we're going to have it on a podcast. What do you want to do next?
I think the next big goal is a 200 kilo deadlift.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what about any comps?
I think most likely if you do another DBD Open after this summer one, I'd like to enter that. I'd like to do that. I'd like to do a private comp. I feel like there wouldn't be that much benefit to doing a regional at BDFPA. I also don't think there'd be any benefit to doing a regional at BP. Also, in theory, I'm banned for a year.
Oh, I was going to leave that, but okay.
Okay. In theory, I could be, like, if I tried to enter a comp, I could be banned for a year for having done nationals.
Yeah. BP be weird about that.
Yeah, I'm not really a threat.
I don't think people realise that that's actually why I'm not able to align with any comp, because I look after every lifter across every fed.
Yeah.
So like I'm stuck.
You don't just go, oh, I only have lifters in this federation.
People don't realise how much I have to give up of my own athleticism to be like, I'm going to have to coach, and that goes. So now that being the outcome, is it like, having done that comp, do you want to compete? Or are you like, I just want to train?
No, I do. I feel like I'd like to make a good chunk of progress before I compete again.
So 200, what else?
Oh, so what, 160 squat, that's not the end goal, but that's like the next
10 kilos away.
Yeah, that's the next sort of like tick goal. Bench. I mean, it's got to be 80, right? But bench is kind of a slow burner for me.
Yeah.
But it is my least trained in terms of, I did squat, not well, and I did deadlift, not well.
I did left.
I don't left. Oh no!
Not the coffee.
The coffee.
What a podcast part that's going to be. Oh wait, the mic is mobile. I'm going to get something to dry it while we keep going. So you've got what is the bench goal?
80.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why only 80? Why not dream bigger?
Well, again, I didn't say these are lifetime end goals. Just, little intermediate. Intermediate? Is that the word?
And having done a national comp at a federation, are national comps kind of where you want to be going, or are you? Because everyone always talks about their federation and where they want to go. And we know that a lot of people notoriously just want to lift at certain levels. What about you? What about your aspirations? Because you never came into this as the girl that wanted to do comps.
I don't think I'm that fussed.
Everything's wet.
I mean, at my BP comp, even with that 6 for 9 performance that I was disappointed with, I did qualify for nationals, and I just had no interest in it. Maybe one day that will change. Who knows? Depends who dies between now and then.
There's going to be like Alice listening to this, doing the graph with her hand right now of like things that people won't know this, but things Rachel says and how quickly things escalate, and just be like, what? 3 words in, hell.
Yeah. I definitely do still want to do competitions again, because it's that accountability towards training. Not that I feel I need that, but like it
definitely is a potent thing in training.
Yeah.
I think people really. And it's not, there are people who compete way too often.
Yeah.
So if my lifters listen to this, Ellen knows that I give her grief about the fact that she competes like 10 times a year.
Yeah.
You can't make progress doing that many comps. But if you're doing 1 or 2, everything gets a time frame, everything gets an urgency, everything gets intent. And
also, one thing that I didn't expect, I actually enjoy a comp day. I enjoy actually.
You enjoy a good comp day. Shit comps are still a thing.
What, in terms of?
Yeah, well, I don't think you've been to any, but we've gone to comps for other people. What about that one in the shed?
Oh, don't.
What if you had to do that comp?
That's,
or what about
that's
the one?
where I met Ellen.
Yeah.
But I don't think I spoke to her, but like that's.
No, what about that one? Or what about the one that was at that gym where it was so cold we didn't want to be there?
Oh my goodness! Yeah, well, 2 of those.
Yeah, I wouldn't do those comps.
No, I wouldn't do those comps. I literally would have gone home.
That's like, there's a degree of thing that I'm amazed people attend.
But if the environment's right, if people's basic needs are met.
Yeah, like health and safety.
Yeah, then I can't see why I wouldn't enjoy a comp.
Now, one of the biggest things people wanted us to talk about, and I want to talk about, is why are we together? No, is because obviously, unlike most people, your coach is your partner.
Yes.
And how do you find that?
Fine. Like.
Great chat.
Right. So I think. So there's 2 different things here. One thing, we were dating before you coached me. I don't even like the word dating. We were together.
I so thought you were going to say something more.
Together.
Don't touch me.
It wasn't a case of you were my coach and then we started dating because like.
Oh yeah, no, let's get into that right now.
Yeah, and I have watched other people who have had one be the coach, one the athlete, and have a romantic relationship, and I've looked at it and gone, I think you should stop that. I don't think that's good for your relationship.
Because I think it can be hellish for a lot of people because it becomes very emotive for people.
Yeah, I think they struggle to separate the 2, and I don't know how. but I don't take any offence to any critique, and I would say you probably give me more critique than you give anyone else because we train together. But I've never taken it personally because on the one hand I'm like, well, I've asked you to coach me, like I want to get better at this. So like you're giving me
here's advice and you're like, why?
I'm like, can you shut up?
You're aware I have feelings. I'm like, yeah, and a sheer squat.
I think that we are quite unique in our dynamic and that it works really well. Like, you're a fucking great coach.
Aww.
Average boyfriend. No.
Worst person.
Yeah. I don't know how, but I think it comes from, believe it or not, a lot of maturity and a lot of security.
Sounds like bullshit.
Sounds really boring.
Well, I think a lot of it has been, so when we've had conversations about lifting, I'm very clear with when it's like, it's critical of the lift, not your effort.
Yeah.
And your effort, I praise you very heavily. I talk about how proud I am of you, of what you do. Far too much for me.
Yeah.
And then we talk about constructive things about how to make a thing better.
Yeah.
And I think because my willingness to be critical is aligned with your willingness to work. Yeah. If your work ethic didn't align with that,
if you're just looking for someone to just tell you you're doing great, which you do, but like don't
hire someone nicer and a bad coach because those people are doing a terrible job.
But I don't want that. I want to be better. And
I'm always very aware of like where the line is and just making sure that I'm not actually upsetting you and being like, that was fun.
I think there's only like one time where I've been even remotely close to upset, and it wasn't even necessarily anything that you were
having a tough week and you were like, I didn't actually ask for criticism and I don't want to hear it today. Was
it even that? I thought it was just like, I know you're critiquing me to be better, but I just need some reassurance right now.
Oh yeah, that was it.
I was like, I just need, you're critiquing today's lift, but I need reassurance that this is not representative of what's going to happen in 2 weeks' time at comp. Like, I just need to be reassured that it's going to be okay.
But yeah, so I think, who are you going to get coached by next?
Beck.
I'll drop you both.
No. No, to be fair, we have spoken about like if we were to break up.
Who would coach you?
And I'm like, I'll go to Beck. And then you were like, no, like you're banned
not
from
DVD.
And coach was like, I'll coach you on the side.
You just said, and coach was like, sorry, coach?
Oh, sorry, and Beck. We've already been talking.
Slutting around with this other coach, are you?
Slutting around. Oh dear.
Yeah, no, I think our dynamic's been a little bit weird, and also people know what we're like as a relationship. We say horrific things to each other all the time.
But we never mean it.
Speak for your fucking self, mate. But the world of being coached by you, because one of the things people asked was like, who wears the trousers in a relationship? Because
people always think it's me.
I find that bizarre.
I find that really weird.
I'm like, have you seen us talk to each other?
I don't get where, because I don't think I come across particularly assertive.
So I thought you were going to say nice.
Or nice, either one. It was so funny. So I've been quite angry.
No.
It's been a week and I've been a bit angry the last few days and just like irritable, and you know we've had Cleo staying with us, and then at one point she's like, is everything okay? Like almost like, oh, you really are angry, aren't you?
For no reason.
Yeah. I'll find a reason. Give me long enough.
But no, the dynamic that we have for coaching, I would say to a lot of people, having coached other people, coach partners,
don't do it.
Don't do it. Like, it works well, and I really am very pleased it works well for us. But I also say there are negatives, because people have asked what are the pros and cons of working with your partner. One of the biggest, I think the cons are almost entirely my side.
Yeah.
I think the pros are all your end.
Yeah.
You get all of the attention, all of the help, all of the critique, every day, all day.
You don't have to. We can train separately.
And I'm more than willing for it, but we both know it eats into my sessions, the focus of training.
Yeah, but I would also like it to say on the record, I don't ask you to coach me during my sessions.
I can't switch it off.
Because you're so shit, I have to say something there and then.
I can't watch this dumpster fire.
Oh, it's so embarrassing.
But yeah, so I can't switch it off. So we train together a lot, which is lovely, but then I'm coaching 90% of the time.
Yeah, and I'm like, hey, fuck off. I was going to do 5 kilos more than what you've just said.
And then I'll be like, no, you're not. And you're like, oh, okay.
Okay.
And then the other con is the stress. And I find this very difficult. Because obviously, if I've got a lifter who's going to go compete, First of all, I'm a little stressed. Any coach that's not, you
You're
don't
invested.
care. Yeah, you don't care enough if it's not actually eating you a little bit, and you're like, did I get that right? Am I making the right choices? And I review every choice I make in a prep, always.
Yeah.
And then I'm going through yours, and I'm reviewing it a few more times. And then I listen to your stress, and you're like, I'm really nervous. Because you're honest with me more than any other client would be honest with me. They're probably going to draw a line and be like, okay, it's fine. Just don't.
Yeah, but that's where probably the only crossover is if I'm talking about, I don't have, like, you know, like most people, if they go talk to their partner, the partner's not their coach, they're going to relay the emotional stuff.
Yeah.
And like, you're the same person for the logical and the emotional.
And sometimes it's like, which one do you want?
Do you want solutions or do you want to cuddle?
Either way, you're getting solutions. Tough shit. Here's the outcome. Here's where the science is. Here's how it's going to work out. And every prep's been good, so
it has.
Can't fucking complain, really, mate.
No.
Let's answer the questions people ask. So they wanted to know about the dynamic for it, what you wanted to do next. So, one of the questions was, what would you like to achieve this year? 200 deadlift.
Yes.
What else?
I would like to achieve gain back a bit more time from the business, which we've been saying for a long time.
Only about 2 years.
Yeah, it's a lot of work, and
I think that one's a difficult one for people to see.
Yeah,
because most of the work people see when we go to Thrive. They don't realise that that's the bit where we're not working.
Yeah, when we're there, we're not doing all the work. That's just dropping in and, like you said, showing face and being there to answer any queries there on that day.
But if we're there all day, we get nothing done.
Yeah.
So a bit of time back from that would be nice.
Yes.
What else? America.
Oh, we need to book a holiday.
Do you fart?
No. I thought of America and then I came. No. I've wanted to go back to America for so long. And I couldn't. And now I can. A round of applause for the USA. They're not doing so great, but California's nice.
So go to America.
Yeah.
We've got a couple of trips lined up. Just do the training thing.
Yeah.
Get some time
That's just a given. That's the training's just...
And that's it.
Yeah.
Sick. Easy life.
Yeah.
One of the questions I have for you, which I wrote, so bear in mind I've got everyone else's questions, but I just wrote, why are you so angry?
I think it comes from just being sad.
No, one of the ones I wanted to ask.
No, my question. Why are you so angry?
Why am I so angry? Depression. I'm angry at everything. I'm just an angry person.
There's a lot to be angry at.
I'm actually not an angry person. I am, at my heart, a very passionate, very positive person for everyone else.
I'd say I used to be that.
Yeah.
And there was a real turning point where I would, on a serious note, I have changed as a person and not for the better.
I agree. You're so much worse.
Yeah.
You were real nice when I met you.
So nice.
It's definitely my fault.
It's not your fault.
Well, it's by proxy of being around me.
It's just... Yeah.
You're welcome. Now you can join me.
This is a thumbs up for anyone who's not watching the video.
Just go quiet. Yeah, I'm not really an angry person, and I'm not with you. One of the big things that you'll know, other people won't know, who are worried for your well-being, that I won't be angry in front of you. Like, I really don't like being...
You have a lot to be angry about.
And instead I'll just sit in an office and work.
Yeah.
And be like...
And I'll just be like, when's your next call with Hillary? Like, if I'm worried about you, like, when are you going to talk to Hillary?
Hillary's sick of my shit, mate. Hillary's my therapist, for anyone who doesn't know.
Yeah, I love Hillary. I've never spoken to her, but...
I'll introduce you one day.
I appreciate
That's weird,
her.
isn't it? Anyway. We just got into some dark shit randomly in the middle.
Hey, it could get darker.
We could, but we shouldn't.
It's been a dark couple of days.
It's been a bit of a week, and people aren't going to... By the time this podcast is out, they actually might know why.
Yeah.
And if they do, they'll also know. That's what I'm saying about, like, I'm dark behind closed doors, is, as you've witnessed for the last couple of days, I didn't talk about it. I'll just deal with my shit, crack on.
Yeah.
This isn't about me, this is your episode. What do you think has been one of the biggest things that has led to your anger? No, to your progression within all of your training? Like, you've obviously, from when you started and when we first met, you were absolute shit.
Dog shit.
And you weren't, that's not true. So you weren't shit by any means. You had a baseline of strength that was like, you train clearly.
A baseline of strength, like, still, how many people when they're powerlifting are like, I just want to get a 100 kilo squat, or I just want to get a 100 kilo deadlift. I did that. Yeah,
before you give yourself credit.
But it wasn't like I was a complete beginner. I was just shit.
It's the 35 kilo bench that did it for me.
Yeah, the ick. The kids call that the ick these days.
But you've gone from that to 150, 72.5 and 190, which means all of your lifts have nearly doubled.
Yeah.
So, which is fucking insane.
It is insane.
Like statistically.
Yeah.
Percentage-wise.
If you start off real bad, it's more likely to happen.
What do you think has genuinely been the biggest factor in your growth?
Your coaching, like hands down.
DBD coaching. Space is not available. Rachel has spaces.
I have spaces. Oh God.
Rachel is not a coach.
I'm not a coach. Yeah.
Also,
yes,
Rachel
let's clarify this.
Rachel is not a coach for DBD. Can we stop fucking trying to hire her?
Right now, let's clarify. I'm not a coach in any capacity.
Oh, I thought I'd stop recording, then I panicked like a motherfucker.
And when people, or like sometimes if people have thought that's what I am, and I correct them,
it's the comments. People will be like, "You and Rach are doing so well with DBD,"
I'm like,
and I'm like,
"Thank you."
"This bitch." Oh yeah, because she does everything for DBD. I'm so glad we have her.
I couldn't do it without her.
She does reply on stories now for DBD.
I don't reply on stories.
Well, you fuck off then. I tried.
Yeah, and I don't have any interest in becoming a coach. It's not. I don't think it's.
You sure? Because I could do with a hand.
I'm very angry. Too angry.
I would love to see you coach. It would be an absolute fire. Someone sends you a video and you're like, first of all, what the fuck is this? Second of all, who are you?
That's just learning from you.
That's my vibe.
No. Don't get me wrong. I actually think if it was something I was interested in, I think I could be a very good coach, but it's not really an area that I want to go into.
That wasn't the question we were supposed to be answering, I just realised. What led you to your progress?
Your coaching.
But why?
Why?
Yeah, because just saying my boyfriend's great is a bit biased.
No, it's not.
I don't even like you.
It's not. So obviously, pretty much everyone knows your programming is incredible. It's impeccable. And
I don't like you.
Can I stay?
You come here often? Because you can't.
And then, yeah, I do think I've definitely had an advantage of having you there for nearly all of my training sessions, where anything that needs nipping in the bud there and then.
Yeah, you get quick
rather
changes.
than like, I'll finish the session, I'll submit the video, get the analysis, wait till next week to implement it. We're implementing it on warm-ups.
Yeah, that is quick.
It is very, very good.
I will say one of the elements that I don't think you get enough credit for, and every now and again I post it on a story, because I try not to post too much of you because I don't care.
Fucking sick of me, mate.
Honestly, I spend all day with you as if I need any more of you on my fucking feed.
We spend so much time together.
All day, every day.
It's unhealthy for some.
We woke up, I haven't been away from you since we woke up together this morning.
I don't know, you went to the toilet at one point.
You went there? Why are you not coming with me?
Holding your hand through the door.
You got this.
Dependence.
It's got so weird.
Codependent.
Shut up. So one of your big things that I don't think you get enough credit for is genuinely your work ethic. And it's something I know that I had when I was younger, when I was good at lifting. But like, if I give you work to do, you never complain. You don't complain about how much volume you get. You don't complain about accessories. If I give you an RPE, you hit an RPE. I think like you get weird credit. In my eyes, it's weird credit where someone's like, your split squats are so strong. I'm like, no, it's just someone actually doing the work.
Yeah.
Like with love, your split squat's cool because it's strong. It's exactly where I think it should be.
But again, that's where I actually think for you to say like, oh, I'll give credit to your work ethic. I'm like, it doesn't feel like I'm just doing what I'm supposed to do.
Which is not that common. To do that degree of work.
I'm just doing what I'm supposed to do because one, I enjoy it. And two, if you program me X accessory because that's going to aid this, yeah, of course I'm going to do it. I want a big fat deadlift.
I think that, and I think being coached by myself and being with myself through this process has probably benefited you in the sense of that totalitarian, it needs doing, I'll do the thing.
Yeah.
Because you've heard me teach about coaching, that's how I talk of like, this is what's going to need doing. What is your expectation? This is the work that kind of attributes to that.
Yeah.
Do you want it or not? And you're like, yes, I'll do the thing.
And also, I don't know how to word this, but I feel like...
The fact you smiled makes me fucking worried.
Nervous.
Like, you're going to say some horrible shit.
I think... Right, I'm not sure the best way to word this, but like the programming that you give me and the work that I have to do to get stronger almost feels like it's not that much I don't feel like you're asking that much of me. I used to do a lot more because obviously moving to powerlifting, programming for getting strong as fuck for 1 rep maxes is completely different to general exercise and bodybuilding and things like that. Completely different. And I'm used to, beforehand I would just work to failure, work until my lungs are hanging out my arse, like, I don't know.
What a picture. I'm really struggling with that one, I'm going to be honest.
How'd that happen?
What are you long doing out your butthole?
So I remember when you first started programming me and I was like, you've given me 3 exercises and I'm doing less than 5 reps.
And you got stronger.
Yeah, like it works, but I would happily do more, But that's what spinning's for.
I hate it.
I love it.
I hate it.
You've never been to one of my classes?
I don't need to see more of spin, Rachel. People say, so one of the questions, what's your dynamic like?
Red team, let's go.
Right, that shit is the thing.
All right, guys, we're going to have to step it up and up.
Shoot me. I can't do... There's a story that some people know about. We did a first aid course. It's the fucking worst. People know I can be like, I'm passionate about some stuff.
Right,
but you're not recreating it.
Let me recreate
it. It's a podcast.
Right, no,
Sit the fuck down.
Yeah.
Let me explain it first. It's not about you.
This is my episode.
It's my podcast.
Okay.
We do a first aid course, and Rachel is a bit of a performer. I am a passionate person about a lot of things. Some things don't need passion. Like sex. No, I'm joking. I'm sorry. No, so we do this first aid course, and you're basically supposed to do this scenario. You come into a room and check for any dangers.
It's practical assessment.
It's practical assessment. Yeah. Already so biting at it.
Bear in mind, I had to seek all my validation from like teachers and people like that in my life because I wasn't getting it from my mum and dad.
I just want you to know, based on how I want you to know how this first aid course went, did not give you more validation. It made me like you less. I walked away from that being like, she might not be the one.
Yeah, but the instructor said I did a really good job, so it doesn't matter.
The instructor is related to you.
My uncle.
So there's this whole scenario. You're supposed to go into a room and check for things. And Rachel enters the room and you're not doing... No. You're not doing it now.
Please.
Okay, you get like 5 seconds because I really can't sit through it.
I'm entering the room. I'm looking for danger. The room is clear.
And then you go up and there's this person who you're supposed to do CPR on. This is why I hate you. And you go up to this like dummy and then you start doing CPR and then to the imaginary mother that no one has said is there, you just go, step back, I know you love him. And that was the moment I realised this won't be forever.
And I had gone first. Obviously, I had volunteered to go first. And then I just remember when Seb came to do his. Seb's quite a bit quieter than me.
So's everyone else.
I just remember watching him and like little moments, like a fear in his eyes of like, do I have to do that?
I did the same, had to do the same practical, walked in and went, it's safe. And you'd been like, I've assessed for danger. I don't know how we just got onto that. Oh, our dynamic. Yeah, spin Rachel. That was it. Yeah. Because I can't fucking stand spin Rachel. No. I'm very proud of what you are and what you do. Just that part of you keeps you fucking self.
What about laser tag Rachel?
She's equally awful. But then I did threaten a child, so I don't mind that that's who you are.
Oh yeah, the kids.
Yeah, those fucking kids.
Yeah.
So when people will be like, so when are you going to have kids? This ain't the episode for that one, guys. Stop playing footsie with me. Slut.
Don't touch me.
So one of the questions got asked. We're only going to do 2 more because I don't know how long we've been recording for already. Can you see how long it's been recording for?
I cannot see.
Get closer then.
56 minutes.
Oh yeah, we'll tie this up pretty soon. So one of the questions got asked, and I hate that I've been asked this. What's your favourite kind of potato?
Yes! Backstory. I didn't ask you this, did I?
No, I wouldn't be here.
Yeah. So one of my favourite questions to ask people back on my Tinder days was, what's your favourite kind of potato? And I have a reason for this. I feel
Can we, if you've listened to this episode, right, if you're at this point, I will say, A, share the episode, do something decent, help us out reaching people. No, don't fucking comment potato.
Your favourite kind of potato.
You can A, post it with your favourite kind of potato, and B, with whether or not you think that's a good question to ask someone for Tinder, You single bastard.
I'm not saying that it necessarily has to be your first question, but I think you can tell a lot about someone when they talk about what their favourite kind of potato is.
Right. No, pressure round. You ready?
Yeah.
Jack and potato.
Boring as fuck. Vanilla.
Potato smiley face.
A child.
New potato.
Oh, that's really boring too. That's kind of the same as Jack and potato.
Oh, really? Potatoes are boring? What a surprise. What about potato? Dauphinoise potato.
Bougie as fuck. Enjoys the finer things in life.
What was my
Will
answer?
treat you right.
Oh, that was my answer.
Yeah.
I can't think of other potatoes.
Roast potatoes. Family person. Family guy. Loves their mum. Maybe a bit too much. We don't know.
This is 9 words in for Rachel.
Sweet potato fries. Probably smokes weed. Probably good fun.
McDonald's
Tattoos.
potato. McDonald's chips.
Ooh. I feel like that one is like that is a mysterious one because I'm like, who doesn't like McDonald's chips?
But who picks those before any other kind of
I
potato?
know. I'll be like, you're not putting much time into this. Is this the amount of effort that you're going to put into whatever this situationship ends up being? I don't know if I want that.
Did you ask anyone and this was successful? Because
I had some good chats about potatoes.
From the bottom of my heart, if you'd asked me, you'd be single right now. And you'd be better
I'm
off.
pretty sure both the guys I was seeing before you, I asked them that.
And that's why it didn't work out, mate.
I don't think it was the potato
You asked
question.
2 fucking losers what potato they liked.
I don't remember their answers, if it helps.
Oh, just so you know, Alice just PB'd something.
Oh, something.
Do you think Callum is like the professor in Money Heist?
This is from Savannah, isn't it?
It is. The fucking ridiculous question.
If you put your glasses on, maybe.
I don't have... Oh, I do. Wow. I think they're most of the questions.
No, I remember Sam Howard asked one.
Yeah, how small is too small? The size of his penis. End of.
Too small.
What you got, mate? Don't answer. That's too small. I think that's all the questions. Anything else you want to answer? Anything else you want to chat about?
How are you?
Let's not.
No,
Why
that's
you ask me
probably
a
a
hard
stupid
question? We're at the end of an episode. You want to start with how I am?
What do you want to achieve by the end of the year?
I'd like to get some time back.
Mm-hmm.
I've done a lot to build, as you've witnessed for the last few years, of a lot of very long days. And people don't appreciate their very long days. And we haven't had much time. Like, when was the last time we had a date night?
We went to Waggers the other night, but it wasn't a
We
great
were there
time.
for 40 minutes.
Yeah.
A date night, like a whole evening, no work, me off my phone, not working for a whole day.
We had our anniversary, but
True.
I was on my period, so
And it was 3 years. What's that got to do with it?
it wasn't that fun.
But that was 3 years of celebration.
Yeah.
I'd like to get a bit of time back so I can do some stuff. And I don't want to work less. I love my job. I do love my job.
I feel like we say it all the time, but we need to travel more.
Yeah.
We always say it, and then things just don't.
And I can work remotely, and I want to do that. And I think we should do that more. Yeah. But anyway, otherwise we'll do this all evening because we'll just chat.
I mean, it's basically what we do at home anyway.
Do you want to do more of these?
Yeah.
This is all right for
Sure.
me. I don't mind this.
I did say to Chris, because he said that he enjoyed our old episodes together.
Who the fuck's Chris?
Your client!
Oh, I don't know. I know a lot of people.
Chris with a K.
That Chris. I coached 2 Chris's as well.
Oh.
Chris Manhart.
No. Chris W.
What's his last name?
Don't know.
See, you don't give a fuck.
Don't-
Sorry, Chris, you made it this far. She doesn't even like you.
And I said that there's every chance that we could be unhinged tonight, but I feel we've kept it together.
Unhinged. I thought you said unhinged.
On-
I'm like, how badly
and
did the episode go? Being like, I'm getting back on Tinder.
And that.
What's your favourite potato?
I do think it would be funny to see if we both broke up.
That's the end of that sentence.
It could be really funny.
Well, I think
See how people react.
I think we should do some other episodes where we can just chat through stuff, because also anything I'm not willing to talk about, you know. So like if there's topics where like we shouldn't touch that, same page.
Yeah, I was going to ask you a question, but I'm not going to this time round.
How about, hold on, end of the episode. Do you want to ask me and we won't answer it?
So how many of your clients have you dated? Plot twist, trick question, none of them.
You were there since DVD started.
Yeah.
Literally 0.
And prior to that, actually, you didn't coach him.
So I think we'll wrap it up there.
Yeah.
And then we'll do another episode and we'll chat some shit.
I think we should have drinks on the next one.
If you've listened this far and you want us to do drinks, and we'll just chat against topics, whatever we want to go through. I'm up for
Although
that.
today was the golden time if we were going to drink, because obviously I've been off programme this week.
Grow up. Have a drink, you pussy.
No.
There's a bit when I upload this and it's like, is this episode for kids? Absolutely fucking up.
I was going to be so much worse as well.
Really? I'm very proud
I feel
of
like
you.
I've been quite reserved.
That's terrifying for the people. Thank you for doing this one with me. I'm not going to wrap it up with any more. No one cares about what your socials are. There's no way they're here if they don't know.
Rachel.
Great.
I have TikTok as well. I don't care about TikTok.
You're so needy. You're 30, mate. Grow up.
I got 40 followers in the last few weeks.
On which one?
They can leave.
On Instagram or TikTok?
Instagram.
Do you want some of this content for your own posts?
No.
Go fuck yourself. Oh,
You
wait.
shut your
We'll
whole
do
mouth.
one last thing. There is a last sweet. So, rock, paper, scissors.
I thought you were going to Lady in the Trumpet, and I was like,
How do you want to wrap this up? Rock, paper, scissors last week.
are we going on 3 or after 3?
After 3. 1,
One,
2, 3.
Ah! We can share it.
Right, bye.
Bye.